How is everyone doing? If you were here at the moment that I went live, you'll see that I was a little slow to click that intro button. I think I got a few seconds of me staring at my screen. But it is July 3rd at 11 p.m. 1 hour, America will be 1 year older. I gotta mute myself so I don't have to listen to that the whole time. But as always, if people have questions, feel free to leave them. This could end up being a relatively quick one. Maybe it'll be the longest live that I've ever done. I don't really have any major plans, but yeah, hope everyone is doing well. I just got back from Cleveland Collecticon last weekend. So from Cleveland Collecticon, we continued on, did a little family vacation. I'm not gonna do like a full PowerPoint recap video at any point, I don't think. This one was significantly more pleasure than business. I often will tie things in to I'll often tie things into Collecticon conventions, and we did last year in New Jersey. We did a bunch of stuff. We did not the Mall of America, but the man, what's that mall called? The American Dream Mall. We did the American Dream Mall. We did a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I'll recap quickly what we did, but not going to be a standalone video. I did get to see some people. Shout out Termentic. I saw Termentic. I saw Dylan of the Pokenomics duo. Him and Pokenomics doing big things now. Mason Cardinal Gaming made a video detailing exactly what they're doing there, some of what they're doing there. And Jake has stuff going on with Dylan. He's got stuff going on with me with the Patreon. He's got stuff going on with Mason, all the streamers. But yeah, I got to see that Dylan there at the MetaZoo booth as well. Also ran into Silver Snorlax. Not planned to see him there, but he just happened to be around the MetaZoo booth. So yeah, let me, I guess I'll start with like the convention itself. The convention itself, I stayed at the recommended hotel. I went on Sunday only. I did not vend. I only attended. I stood in line, MetaZoo, first thing when I got in the building. Really nice convention center. I know a lot of people were at Card Party. I think I knew significantly more people at Card Party than I knew at Cleveland Collecticon. But Cleveland was drivable. And Cleveland was warm, but it was not Florida in June, Florida in July warm. So hard time that I'll ever go back down to Florida after May 1st probably. I've been down there a couple times after May 1st, and I'm not cut out for it. I'm not made for it. But MetaZoo booth, my kids spun the wheel. My daughter won a convention pack, I believe. My son won a booster pack, and then I believe my wife also spun. I didn't want to spin it. I felt a little bit weird about that. Probably could have spun it perfectly fine. But I didn't spin it. They opened their packs. What's her name? Jet was there. My daughter had a card signed. I don't have anything with me. I didn't bring the cards with me into my office. But mostly was just milling about, picking up things for the kids' binders. We were flipping through binders, and if we started seeing $10, $20, $50 cards, it's like, hey kids, that binder's a little bit too expensive. Let's find the ones that are like $1, $2, $3. They probably spent $50 to $100 on various singles for their binders. I know my son went in. We will do better. I'm gonna make a list right now. I'm gonna make a note to myself for next week. My son needs to make a Pokédex binder list. So he had been flipping through his Pokédex binder a few days before we went down to Cleveland, and he knew he needed Nidoqueen. He knew he needed Hitmonchan. He knew he needed Kingler. He needed some easy ones that I probably could have found around here, around home, for free. But we closed out Kanto. I believe we closed out Kanto for him. He had 4 or 5 that he needed. We got them all, and then we got some random ones that he was pretty sure he needed. At some point this weekend, we'll probably go through his binder and see out of the 15 or so that he bought, how many of them are duplicates, how many did he actually need. Daughter got just some cutesy ones. A couple people out there gave my kids, some people I think gave my kids freebies. Hey, I see a little kid, here's a Japanese 50-cent AR, whatever it may be. Just because, like, hey, I see young kids flipping through my binders, let me give them something. I don't think they knew me at all. And then certain people were definitely like, hey, that's Dan, that's Catch 'em All Collectibles. Hey, that's Dan's kids. Let me give the Catch 'em All kids something. So shout out to all of you Whether you knew me or not, I very much appreciated that. Anytime that people gave me stuff, I tried to buy something from them as well, because I did appreciate it and I didn't want to just be taking all the freebies. But yeah, shout out to Dark Canvas TCG. I don't have the slabs handy, but they actually gave some pretty crazy slabs. Crazy slabs. Asked my kids what their favorite Pokemon were, and then produced some pretty interesting slabs for that. Mr. ZNG Emporium was there. I know I jumped right to Sunday, but on Friday night, James had his family there. I had my family there. We actually met up. We talked about going out to dinner. I ended up going to his Airbnb and we hung out there for a little bit. So got to all talk amongst each other. Mr. and Mrs. Ketchum, Mr. and Mrs. Z and G. That was nice. Got some pizza. It was a good time. And I ran into him at the well, I didn't run into him. I sought him out. I sought him out at the convention. He was way towards the back with Wolfie and the TC Genius. If you're on Instagram, you may know those names. Got to say hi to them. I'm not going to be able to list and remember every single person that I ran into, but it was a good time. All in all, it was a little bit hot in there because it was hot outside and they didn't have sufficient AC to bring that massive building all the way down to a nice 70 degrees or whatever, but it wasn't terrible. Very nice convention center. It was really close to the airport. I stayed at the recommended hotel about 15 minutes away. I drove to Cleveland anyways, so I had my car. No big deal. Parking was nice, easy. I think parking was like 10 or 12 bucks. But overall, I really liked the convention center. If you're flying in, it's right by the airport, which is nice. Hotels right around there. Felt like a reasonable area to have a Collecticon, have a convention. I hope they go back next year. I can't say that Cleveland will be like a guaranteed lock must do every year, but given that it's drivable, it's one that I'll, if nothing else is going on, I'll probably go. That not like singing massively high praises of it, but I genuinely did really enjoy it. That was pretty much like the whole Collecticon recap. Nothing too crazy happened. Just bounced around and said hi to people. My daughter actually, she saw the claw machine. So I'm like, obviously, the Hobbies Foundation is pack ripping, things like that. So some amount of gambling tied in there. So I told her, I'm like, if you play this, you're probably not going to get anything. We go to the arcade, we go somewhere, and they see those claw machines. They've got some of that in them, like I have in me. The gambler. Need to be careful with that as they grow up. But my daughter went for trying to win some Pokemon plushie or whatever. $2 down the tubes, got nothing. So she gambled, she lost. We donated to the degeneracy of the convention with one of the claw machines. So that was a highlight that I wanted to bring up. Other than that, yeah, if people have interest, I could talk through my extracurriculars. This trip was mostly extracurriculars. I left my house Friday morning. We hung out with the Z&Gs on Friday night. Saturday, we did our thing in Cleveland. We went to the Science Center. I'm going to be glancing over here because I actually have some pictures. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to remember everything. But yeah, we stayed at like the Hyatt Regency Arcade, which was near an arcade, which my kids were not excited to learn did not mean like they learned that an arcade, which I learned at the same time, was not like an arcade with video games. It was like an arcade architecturally, or an architectural arcade, which is like some kind of a mall thing, some kind of a strip mall type deal, covered with a lot of glass, almost like a greenhouse. So I learned that before we went. My kids learned that while we were there. Hey, we're at the arcade. What do you think about the arcade? That was funny. For me, not so much for them. But yeah, Science Center. We went to, what else did we do Saturday? Mostly the Science Center all day. My gallery is full of food photos. We had a lot of great food. I'm a big food guy. I definitely put on a few pounds over this trip that I need to start working back off. 1 week from today, Pongo will be here. We will be drinking IPAs. We will be smoking brisket that we are bringing down to New Jersey Collecticon. I just got back. It's been 4 days since Cleveland Collecticon. but I just got back a few hours ago, essentially, like 6, 7 hours ago at this point. But I just got back from my extended vacation thing that I did, and I'm turning around, and it's the 4th of July tomorrow. We got a birthday party, one of my son's classmates this weekend, and then it's turning right around in New Jersey Collecticon, which we are extending by multiple days for another family vacation. So crazy, crazy busy times, but that's what I've been building towards. I've been building towards the fisherman in the thumbnail. I've been building towards having the ability, setting up business in a way that I can take some time off here and there, and I can spend more time with family. And we did that. We did that. We went to right around the corner from the Hyatt Regency at the Cleveland Arcade was like this illusion museum. It sounded kind of like iffy. I read the reviews and people were like, "Oh, it's just a thing for Instagram." A lot of like Instagrammers were in there. It was kind of funny, but interesting illusions. Kind of expensive for what it was, but we went through there. Kids had a good time with it. We solved some cool puzzles. Got some funny pictures of like in Ames' room. I remember those things. One person stands in a corner, the other person stands in this corner. The room is set up so it looks like it's a square room, but it makes like my kids are taller than me in a couple pictures. Pretty interesting thing. That night we had what do we got here? We got bone marrow, we got chicken wings, we got pork belly. Some of the food we had was really, really good. In Cleveland, in Pennsylvania. Well, in Pennsylvania we didn't have anything crazy. And then Canada, we had some really good stuff. I'm gonna speed run through our Canadian trip and then I will get to chat. Let's see. So yeah, that's we got some donuts. Shout out to the I see someone mentioned something about RuneScape. Where'd that just go? Right there. Good to see you were able to get a break from RuneScape. Those pixels can drain you. So shout out to the RuneScape homies. Actually had some food recommendations to check out in Cleveland. There was a Cleveland local in there. Didn't meet up with them, but got some good donuts for their recommendations at Brunuts in Cleveland. It was called. Then Sunday we went to the convention. Sunday night we went to Erie, Pennsylvania. We swam in the hotel pool. The kids swam in the hotel pool with the wife, and they had an infinity pool, which was pretty cool. Where like the water runs over the edge, and it looks like the water just connected to Lake Erie. It looked like it was all one thing. Sunday, that was Sunday night. Monday through Thursday, 3 nights at Niagara Falls. We did Monday night we kind of walked around. We went and saw the falls, Horseshoe Falls. We did it from the Canadian side, and then we saw the falls. Didn't do a whole lot. Ate a lot of food. We went to the Rainforest Cafe, which I was worried was not going to be great, but the food was actually pretty solid. Really expensive, but it was good. I'd rather spend too much money and have the food be good than I'd rather spend twice as much as food should be and have it still be like really solid than pay what it should be and have it be terrible, if that makes sense. We went to Tuesday was like the kids' day mostly. Tuesday we did the arcade, the go-karts. That was as much me as the kids. But we did a wax museum. We did like all the things, the Ferris wheel, all the things that come in that one pass that we bought. 6 things for one lower price, whatever. Yesterday was like our big, I told the kids, like, we're going to actually do things that we can't do anywhere. Like, we have arcades where I live. We have go-karts where I live. We don't have Niagara Falls where I live. It's only a few hours away, but we did, apparently, talk to my parents. I didn't really remember it, but I did the Maid of the Mist from the US side when I was younger. We did the Canadian version of it. It was called Canada City Tours, whatever, Niagara City Tours. It was just a boat tour, and we went into the mist, and man, it was like you turned on 5 showers at once. It was like just gallons and gallons and gallons a minute of stuff. I wore shoes, which was a mistake. I wish I had sandals on. My wife was the only one with sandals. Spent some time in the hotel room with a hairdryer, drying out our only pairs of shoes we had, me and the 2 kids. If you go to Canada, if you go to Niagara Falls, either the Maid of the Mist or the Canadian version of the Maid of the Mist, highly recommend. It was expensive, but like really cool to be down in it. We went into the Horseshoe. We watched other boats go, and it felt like they went in and they came out pretty quickly. We were like parked in the mist, which was like a downpour, like a 10-inch an hour, 12-inch an hour downpour. It felt like. we were in it for like 3, 4, 5 minutes probably. Maybe it was like 2 minutes, but it felt like 5 minutes. It was crazy. We got soaked, even with the poncho they give you. We went behind the falls. You go to the base of the falls. You go down an elevator, 100 feet or 30 whatever meters it is, and then you like walk. You're behind the falls. You kind of pop your head out like behind the waterfall, which is really cool. We also went up into the Skyline Tower. I would have done. My wife would not allow, but helicopter tours. They have helicopter tours. At some point, I want to do a helicopter tour. I need to wait till my daughter's older. I think my son will be more like my wife and be kind of avoidant of things like that. But once my daughter's old enough that my wife, probably when she's like an adult, when she's 18, I want to go skydiving again at some point. I did that after I graduated college. I want to do that again, probably when my daughter turns 18 and can make that decision for herself and her mom can't say no anymore. And then I want to do like a helicopter tour, either the Grand Canyon or Niagara Falls or somewhere. Like I just want to ride in a helicopter. I've never ridden in a helicopter. So yeah, that's then today we pretty much just left the falls. We didn't do anything crazy. I think that covers the whole trip vacation, documenting it for my future self. It's at some point, if I care to rehash what I did on that trip, I will have video documentation of me quickly glossing over everything in about 10 minutes. But yeah, let me if anyone has any Pokemon questions, this is a Pokemon market podcast primarily. I probably should have talked about it at the end, my whole vacations and goings on. But yeah, if anyone has any Pokemon questions, let me know. I will definitely run until at least midnight. I want to run until 4th of July. Say happy 4th to everyone. Hope everyone has a great weekend and all that. But yeah, at minimum, I'll run another 40 minutes. And maybe I'll run a lot longer if we get deep into talking Pokemon. Let me catch up with chat now. I am a little ways behind. I did make a quick list of things that I will be talking about, but I already covered some of them. Cardboard123 says, love that thumbnail. Peak copy paste Photoshop skills. I think you can tell, but I threw that together in about 3 minutes. I am frantically is the wrong word. I am trying to efficiently and having to do a live stream in the middle of it to keep my Mr. Consistency thing going. I am catching up. I'm staying up tonight until this live is done, and then I'm going from the live stream to my emails, to my Discord messages, to my Instagram messages. I did on this trip 2 nights. No, 1 night and 1 morning. I took out my laptop from the hotel and I kept up on, well, I was keeping up on messages on my phone every other night or so. Instagram, Discord, emails and all that. And payouts though. So I pay out every Wednesday. When I'm on vacation, generally speaking, if it's ever going to change, I will notify everyone in advance, like with at least a couple weeks notice. And I'll pay out some things early to compensate for paying for things late. But I pay out every Wednesday, and I was gone yesterday, but I paid out yesterday. I had some difficulties. I'm not going to turn this into a whole 30-minute Chase bank rant, but I've been blocked twice. I 2 times. 1 time from Canada, 1 time an hour ago. I was on the phone with Chase getting unblocked. What I learned, and for future Dan, it took me a minute to think of this, which should have been easy to think of. Shouldn't be necessary, but Chase, it's like new device. Okay, boom, boom. Here's the code. I tried using my phone at first, actually from Cleveland, and I've used my phone before. I've paid out wires, I've paid out ACHs, I've paid out Zells from my phone. So it's like, I'm not a super techie guy, but I believe my IP address on this phone is the same whether I'm here or whether I'm somewhere else when I'm using my mobile, when I'm not tied to like a Wi-Fi or whatever. And I intentionally didn't connect to a Wi-Fi, but I think it can sense. Like, I think when I use my mobile connection in and around Verona, New York, I think it knows that I'm in Verona, New York, Chase. And if I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, I think it sees the same IP address for the device, but I think it knows that I'm in Cleveland, Ohio now instead. So maybe they didn't like that. Whatever they didn't like, they immediately locked me down. I tried sending 1 payout, and the payout was a new connection. So someone had sold me packs, Zelle. I initiated a new Zelle account. I transferred to it. Boom, you're locked down. Call us. I called the next day, got it unlocked. And then I'm like, hey, I'm going to prioritize this in a way where I pay out all old connections first. So I went through and I did like every time PK Ponga received packs, every time I receive packs, I pay out everyone. And I have a lot of regular sellers. But every week I'm getting a new person here, a new person there. So I paid out all the people that have sold to me in the past, all the people that had been in my Zelle, in my ACH, in my Wire, and Chase has seen successful transfers. So I did like 20 payments without an issue. And then I got down to the last couple and I messaged a couple people. I'm like, hey, I see you wanted ACH. I'm traveling right now. I can try it, but I'll probably get blocked and I probably will have to send you on Friday. And a couple people successfully were like, hey, no big deal. If you want to send Friday, that's fine. And then some people were like, hey, I'd kind of like to get it now. Here's my PayPal. PayPal, hopefully I will have them forever. Going back to the conversation I had with James on Friday, James doesn't pay PayPal anymore. He eventually got to a point, he pays out a lot more money than I do overall. He got to a point where PayPal was just like, nah, you're done. Maybe someday I get there. Maybe Fisherman Dan will always stay low enough to stay off their radar. But I successfully got a few people to change from ACH to PayPal, and I paid out over 50 grand in PayPal friends and family in the span of a few days. I did some Sunday, Monday, and then I did Wednesday. All the consigners that do PayPal friends and family, all without a hitch, all without an issue. I got down to like I had 2 or 3 payments that were just new connections, and they had to be ACH or they had to be Zelle, and I got 1 or 2 of them through, and I think it was 1 or 2 that didn't. And I just did them before I went live. I don't remember whether it was 1 or 2 because there were some new ones I had to do since that PK had received or whatever. But this device is known by Chase. I am me. I answer all the right questions, and I tell him. I told the person when I called Chase the first time, I'm like, hey, I'm traveling for the next 72 hours. I'm going to be sending more payments in 24 to 48 hours. I'll be sending them, like, I told them, I'll be approximately sending this much money to this many individual people. Can you just like green light that? Like you do the 2-factor authentication. It's a known device. I am putting in the 6-digit code that you sent me. Everything is good. Like can't you just like green light these? It's 2025. I'm not going to turn this into an hour-long thing. But they're like, sorry, that's not a thing. And I tell people, I tell them, I'm paying people who've already sent me stuff. I have the stuff. I've verified this stuff. Or I verified this stuff. I've sold this stuff. It's not my money. I'm returning to other people their money. I tell that to Chase. And they're like, we can't tell you when it's going to happen, but when it happens, you have to call. And then you have to answer all these stupid questions we ask you. It's a nightmare. Like, how in 2025 is this a thing? I don't know. I will periodically rant about it every few months or so. But that was a headache. In 2 weeks, I will be paying out consigners on Wednesday while I'm in New Jersey. And I have my methods for like tiptoeing around how dumb Chase is, but it will only take me so far. And there might be a couple people whose payments spill over into Thursday or Friday instead of Wednesday if they're new and if they have to have ACH or Zelle. Big shout out to PayPal while they allow me to. I am a big fan of paying out on PayPal. Grabby's card says, how is Dig a Hole Park? That is in a little bit over a week from now. That is in about 2 weeks from now when we're in New Jersey. That is Diggerland we will be going to. It's funny, on last Thursday, I talked a decent bit about New Jersey Collecticon, even though Cleveland was the upcoming one. 1 week I will be, Ponga will be here. We will be, like 1 week and 12 hours, we will be heading to New Jersey Collecticon. Card Party was pretty good. Had a great time. Love to hear that. I know tons of people that went to Card Party. I'm sure, like, overall, I'm fairly certain, like, I probably would have had a better time at Card Party, but I still had a really good time at Cleveland. I just knew a lot more people at Card Party. It was still great. And shout out to Pokey MT, actually. On Saturday night, I didn't go to the convention. I went there Sunday. But I did end up meeting up. There was a small trade night. It was, I mean, it's all relative, but I've been to smaller Collecticon trade nights and I've been to bigger Collecticon trade nights. It was a medium-sized Collecticon trade night at like the basement of the arcade near the recommended hotel, and I hung around there. I may or may not have had an IPA in hand that I was finishing up before I went off premises. PokeMT and I, we went out on the town, got some barbecue, and we got some beers. We talked Pokemon, we talked consignment, we talked all different kinds of things. The Pokemon market. But yeah, shout out to PokeMT. It was very nice meeting you in person and being able to hang out with you for a decent chunk of my Saturday night. I missed that when I was doing my Collecticon recap. So if PokeMT, if you were listening to the early part and you were sad that I missed you, I did come back and cover it. Jonathan Flint says, I've been pulling honey supers for 2 days in Louisiana. Stupid, but gotta be done. I don't know what that means exactly. I don't know if I'm reading that wrong. Let's see. ZNG #1 consignment service. I will add the stipulation. #1 eBay consignment service. I'm a little biased, but shout out to the Catch 'em All Collectibles Fanatics. Where is it? Shout out to the Catch 'em All Collectibles Fanatics consignment service. I do have a little promotion going on while James was closed down. I may or may not have taken a couple cards from people that normally send to him, and I think I already know I think some of the new people that I got in with this promotion, they're like, hey Dan, I really like that you have inbound. So a couple things. Sorry James, I do need to like pump up the service. I need to say some of the things that I have that the competition doesn't. I have inbound insured shipping. I don't know of anyone else that has that. There might be people who have it, but I'm not aware. So when you send to me, you have to let me know what's coming. A package can't get lost and you say, oh, there was $1 million of this, that, and the other thing. I need to have a list of what you are sending to my Fanatics vault. And if it goes missing, if it gets lost, it is fully insured on the way to my vault address. Same way as if you sell to me, if you sell packs to me, it is fully insured on the way to my P.O. box when you send to me. Additionally, I pay out in PayPal friends and family. I don't believe any other consignment services that I know of do that. The other ones that I've used are like DC Sports, Probstein, ZNG Emporium. There might be other big ones that, there might be other smaller ones that do it. But the biggest of the big ones, it's just one of those scale things. I think there's a risk, there's a chance that someday I might scale to a point where I can no longer do PayPal friends and family. But at least as of today, as of July 3rd at 11:29 p.m. Eastern Time, I pay out in PayPal friends and family. I hope to be able to say that for as long as I do the service. I hope to be able to say that forever. But as of right now, that is a pro of using my service, and it's Fanatics. Fanatics is entirely different from eBay. It definitely overall, I'm not gonna ever use card salesman. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna make things up. It is a smaller platform. Fanatics sells less cards than eBay does. And certain items definitely benefit from the larger buyer pool on eBay over Fanatics. But there are other items, and I have some consigners that are very, very savvy. I know they consign with James. They used to consign with me on eBay Vault, and they still consign with James on eBay, and they send certain things to me. Overall, they probably send more to James on eBay. More things are better for eBay overall. But there are certain things that hit that sweet spot. I pay out 95% currently on promotion above $480 sales. That's massive. There are certain items that will end neck and neck on eBay, on Fanatics, and I'm paying out 95% above 480. Whereas to get 95% on Probstein, you got to go to $1,000. To get 95% with James, currently I believe you got to get over 3,000. So certain things are better. Certain things are better on one. Certain things are better on the other. Sometimes I get people to ask me like what's better on Fanatics than eBay. They all vary. They're all consistently inconsistent. Auctions can vary wildly, especially in times like this. Look at the comps. Like I always tell people, like I'm not gonna lie to you and say that I can guarantee my thing will sell for higher, will net you more than selling here or there. I'm gonna say like, hey, and this is like a terrible salesmanship of me. Go check the comps on Alt. Fanatics is there, eBay is there, and take into account the other aspects of the service and make your decision from there. I never tell people like you are definitely better off and you will definitely be happier consigning with me. It's always like I'm here if you want me, And if not, I use James. It's a great service. I use Probstein. It's a great service. I use DC Sports. It's a great service. So yeah, that's like a very poor pitch overall for myself, I think. I told you some pros, I told you some cons, and then I said like, use my service or don't use it, and either is fine with me. I won't be mad at you. Mr. Consistent did make it. Let's see. Zarda King says, I'd rather go to a con than card party IMO. I feel like overall, I am more of a Collecticon guy. I say that having gone to 10 Collecticons or more maybe, and 0 card parties. But I just think generally I'm more built for the way that I engage in the space, the hobby. I think Collecticon is more my speed. I will try to verify that in person. I do intend on going to card party Seattle. It's not locked in, it's not guaranteed by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm going to try to go to Card Party West. And I will recap it from there. I'm sure that there will be some extracurriculars. I'll recap those as well. But I do want to visit Washington. I've never been, aside from the airport. So yeah, hopefully I will be able to pro versus con compare Card Party and Collecticon in the future. Claw machines are, I think they're, at this point, most people know what they are. So can you call them a scam when I went in knowingly, knowing what it was, knowing what I was up against, my daughter was up against? And I told her very disclaimer Dan about what was going to happen, and it happened. And I can't really call them a scam. If you are ignorant enough to think that you have a fair shot winning a claw machine, then I guess they're a scam. But like, I think it's fairly ubiquitous that the way they work, the way it's very random. Mark Rober, I believe, made a video that has like 50 million views on YouTube about the various carnival type, arcade type games that look easy to win, but they're actually like, there's programming in them that will make the claw stronger more frequently and make the claw weaker more frequently. And the one where you have to stop the light doesn't give you a fair chance of hitting that jackpot thing. It's only like 1 every 100 spins or whatever that you actually have a fair shot at getting that. And then if you are terrible at the game, you will still miss it. Claw machine, 1 out of 100 times it actually picks up. And if you're terrible at the game and you land where nothing is, or you land in between things, you're still gonna lose it the one time that you had a chance to win. So yeah, they're I understand what you're saying. They're a scam, but like nuance, gray area Dan has to say that it feels ubiquitous. Most people know that what they're getting into. It's like calling slots a scam. Slots at a casino are not a scam. It's well advertised what they are. They will take a cut. They will have the house edge. The casino will become rich and many people will become poor. But some amount of people. So you're saying there's a chance. I might be that one to get that $10,000, $100,000. They are a mechanism, just like lotteries. They're a mechanism to move money from the bad at math to some very small portion of the bad at math that are lucky. My wife won. So when we were at the arcade, not the Cleveland arcade, but when we were at an arcade in Canada, my wife watched like 2 claw machines back to back that they were like physically connected. I think 2 people in a row won, or one lady won twice in a row at one, and then somebody won on the other side. So 3 wins in a row on the claw machine. And I said, I bet you that thing is programmed to like every once a month, a 2-minute, 3-minute window where they just win. And they get like, because I don't know how many people were actually looking. Maybe there were 5 or 10 people around the room looking and watching. And then you just saw like a little cluster of people go there, lose, back to normal. But they generated some amount of like hype. They generated some amount of thing. And then people tried their chance like, oh, maybe it's broken. Let me go in. No. And the way those things work is like, and I think people know this. I wouldn't call it a scam because I think it's fairly ubiquitous. People spend like $50 going for a plushie that you can buy on Alibaba or whatever for $3 or $5, and they're buying 100 at a time for 30 cents, 50 cents a piece or whatever. It's pretty crazy. Dan is morphed from evil robot to a handsome fisherman. Walrus is working hard every day, so I never have to leave my house. Or maybe he's saying that about me. I don't know. Beyond Collectible says that's on my things to do once the kids get older. I assume that's the Maid of the Mist thing. I assume that's when I was talking about Canada. I was in Canada actually for Canada Day, which is their version of the 4th of July. I don't know all the history behind it, but I think that's about as deep as it is. Tomorrow, 24 minutes from now, July 4th is the birthday of our nation, right? And I think Canada Day is similar when they were liberated from whatever. I don't know their history that well, clearly, but Canada Day was pretty busy. It was Tuesday. It was notably more busy than Monday and Wednesday for sure. I assume, like in the United States, a lot of people in Canada get Canada Day off. Probably not all of them. Probably not as many people as get off some of the more major ones. But yeah, it was a good time. They had the fireworks were longer that night over the falls. They had a couple things going on for it. Nothing crazy that we engaged with. Let's see. I'm gonna try to. So I see some Pokemon questions now. I will. I'm gonna try. I've been terrible at engaging in the live chat for whatever reason. My let me refresh. My stupid. Oh, here it is. So this whole time, my OBS has a built-in YouTube live chat that just didn't work. So eUnit wants to know. I'm gonna try to engage with the live chat so that I don't catch a comment 20 minutes late. Hi Dan, what should I buy that will go up immediately? Thanks. Paying down debt is a guaranteed return. If you are fortunate enough, I say that very sarcastically, if you're fortunate enough to have a risk-free rate of 30+%, meaning you carry credit card debt, that is a very low-hanging fruit. That is one of the primary buckets. So I would where are we? Pay down high, moderate interest debt. I would do that. If you have an employer 401k company match, whatever it may be, that you are not maximizing, I would maximize that. So that is some guaranteed things that you can buy. Buy that 401k match. I'm going to scroll up though, and I'm going to start taking questions. Then was there anything you saw at Collecticon that you felt was surprising, a specific set type of card widely available, or a crazy price you couldn't believe? I really was like going straight to binders, and binders are like what they are. I think a lot of people in our circle that vend do well with binders because you like the meta for binders is you take 50-cent cards and you put them for $1, and you take $1 cards and you put them for $2. Like you double your money and then some, if not more. All the binders that I was seeing were exactly what I expected. They were cards that were 200-300% of market. They were very cheap, so it didn't matter. A lot of the cards, like I know that I could just buy them on eBay, TCG Player, wherever, for my kids to fill their binders cheaper, more effectively, more efficiently. But it's an experience. The kids go hunting through the binders. The kids enjoy what they see, and it's like I'm not gonna sweat that. Occasionally, my daughter will want a $3 card. My son will want a $3 card. I give him a $5 bill and I say, hey, this is. I'm like, do the math. How much is this? My son tells me 6, and ask him if he'll take 5. And I don't think I did that once, actually, this time in Cleveland. I think we paid full sticker every time, but we did get some good freebies. So, let's see. Jonathan Flint went on a helicopter tour once in Tennessee, and it was awesome. I've went skydiving. I've rode a lot of the biggest roller coasters in the country, at least in the Northeast. I have not yet. Parasailing is one I want to do. Bungee jumping is one I want to do. I did reverse bungee jumping, like the slingshot. If you've ever been to a Six Flags park, most of them have the sky coaster and the slingshot. I've done both of those several times, but I definitely need a helicopter ride at some point soon. Should I invest in Gold Star, Greninja, and Mimikyu? They're going up so much. So generally speaking, when a card has gone up 1,000%, you should generally not want to buy the card. You should want to sell the card if you have the card. So if you don't yet have it, there are a decent amount of them out there. How do I know there's a decent amount out there? I'm just pretty sure a mass-produced tin that I bought a lot of packs from years ago, and the guy threw in the promos that came in them. for very, very cheap price. 10 cents, 25 cents a piece. I forget what I paid. But I have a stack of these. I've not found all my stacks of Greninjas kicking around. But generally speaking, price goes up. The card's the same card it was before the price went up. I am more prone to sell than to buy at that point. So yes, I generally would say you can do whatever you want to do. I'm going to sell. I am going to send a bunch of these to Ponga, a bunch of these to PK. They can only sell so many through the live stream. The live stream might not even pay what they're going for. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna send a lot to Skya. Skya, if you're out there listening, I'm gonna send a bunch of these to you and burn through them. Will they go to 25? Will they go to 30? I don't know. I don't care. At this point, they made me thousands. Could they make me more thousands? Could I miss out? Maybe, but like, I could set 50 of these back and look at them 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I don't know. I'm not even someone who significantly specs on singles on cards. It's probably something, honestly, I should do more, given that I have the live streams, given that I have like all the outlets that I have at this point. But these ones truly happened just by chance. I was trying to buy, I was intentionally trying to buy thousands of Celebrations packs. And the guy that I was buying them from, private deal that I found, he was breaking down these tins, and I have this many Hydreigons, I believe. Is Hydreigon pumping yet? Should I sit on those for a while longer? I think I have the same amount. I think there were 3 promos in that tin. Wasn't it Mimikyu, Hydreigon? Was the Toxicity in that one too? Or was the Toxicity in a different one? I can't remember. But anyways, I'm gonna sell those. They genuinely were not even bought like as a massive spec. They were just like right place, right time. Let me add on this $50 add-on to get 500 of these Mimikyu promos or whatever it was. I don't remember all the particulars. Vending at Card Party was great for me, but how was the foot traffic at Collecticon? Anecdotally, I talked to a few people that I knew pretty well. Seemed to have a really good show. I know a lot of the people. I did pick up a couple consignments while I was in Cleveland. I posted once or twice on Instagram like, hey, if you find me at Cleveland Collecticon, I don't know what day I'm going. If you have any cards you want to drop off, 95% promo, 480 and up. I did pick up a couple consignments myself from people on things they didn't sell. And then I know James picked up a bunch himself too. He was there with a table. He was not buying, he was not selling. He was just picking up consignments. And I don't know if he's decided yet, but I hope I get to see him. He talked about contemplating going to New Jersey to pick up consignments. So if you go to New Jersey, if you want to sell your stuff on Fanatics, I'll be there. I can pick them up. From the moment they touch my hands, they are fully insured. I think that goes for James too. I don't think he does inbound shipping insurance anymore, but I believe he would insure fully from once he gets his hands on them at the convention. And I'm not going to push you to sell with me. If James does go to New Jersey Collecticon and you think your things are better suited for his service and for eBay, by all means, I would hand deliver my cards to James if I had any that I wanted to sell with him at the time. It's been a while. It's been a little while since I've sent anything to him, but I do sell with him occasionally. Mostly I send through my own service, but there are certain things, certain times where it's like, hey, I've got way too many of these. Last time I did it was the gray felt hats. When I had 50 PSA 10 gray felt hats come back at once, I'm like, that's a little much for Fanatics all at once. Take some James, take some Probstein. Nice thing about Probstein, sometimes I want my things to end on a Wednesday. Sometimes I want my things to end on a different day other than Sunday. I want to spread them out and like pros and cons. There are pros and cons. Some people would see that as a con of Probstein. I see it as a pro from time to time. I just like, hey, I might send this to James, but like, no, I want this listed quicker. I want to be paid a little bit quicker. I want it to end on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday or surprise me, Probstein. Probstein is good at surprising you. They will list really quickly. They will pay really quickly and it will end on some random night. And with this market, people worry about way too much when things end. Fanatics, they always end Sunday nights. James, they always end Sundays. I don't think it's a huge deal. I don't think it's a massive deal that they have to end on Sunday. But how's it going, Thrifty? Nice to see you pop in here. We got Thrifty joining us from Chicago, Illinois now, as far as I understand. Hope the move went well, Thrifty. Light Toxicity. Nice to see you, Thrifty. Hope the move went well, and good luck on your new venture with old school Pokemon. Very excited to see how that goes. I'm very excited to talk. I talk with Nick every other week on Pokeflips. Very excited to talk with him and talk through how that whole progression is going. Let's see. I'm scrolling up back to where I was. Thoughts about e-reader reverses from Skyridge, Aquapolis, and Expedition. Pop report criminally low for all pops. I never. So when I did peak Collector Boy Dan, I don't collect reverse hollows. I don't like them. I don't care if it's Legendary Collection. I don't care if it's the EX era. Those are better than the regular ones, I think. But I've never been a reverse hollow guy. I'm not a specking on single cards, especially graded cards. Graded singles specking is like the furthest away from anything that I do. So I just don't like it. I don't do any of it. Thrifty says they have lightning bugs here, Dan. It's lit. I recently went on a Cub Scout outing with my family, and someone brought it up, but I like lightning bugs, I believe, are endangered at this point, or maybe they're endangered in certain areas. Growing up, thinking back though, like where I live in the country, I'd look out across the field and I'd see thousands of lightning bugs. Like that was a frequent summer night memory thing that just at some point in the past 20, 30 years, 20, 25 years, it's not as much of a thing anymore. And that was pointed out to me late night around a campfire from another one of the Cub Scout dads. And it blew my mind. It's like, man, I don't see lightning bugs nearly as often as I used to, do I? But yeah, very interesting side rant thing. But yeah, Nick's cool too, but biggest highlight is the lightning bugs. They're still around me, but they're not nearly as prevalent as they used to be. But yeah, single specking, I just, will some go up? Could they go up really well? Absolutely, they might, but I will not partake. I will not be involved. The only way I'll partake in e-reader reverse hollows is if you ever want to consign them with me. You want to consign them with me? Here are the rates that I will pay you out when we sell them. I think they're cool. They're just not for me. They're not for me at all. Jelly Pete says, what can we do to solve the manipulation going on? To solve them, and whether this is organic buyout or whether this is, was it too cheap? Is this a price correction? Is it like, I don't know what this is. Biggest thing is like, look at the chart, look at the card, look at how much the card costs. Do you have $12? If no, don't buy the card, flat out. If yes, do you like the card? If you would rather have the card than $12, buy the card. If you buy the card for $12 because you think it's headed for $50, you're an adult, do what you want to do with your money. I would caution you to some extent. I would say like, hey, are you buying this only because other people are talking about it? Are you realizing it's cool? You didn't ever know the card existed. Mimikyu's your favorite Pokemon. Like, I think there's reasonable times and ways to buy this. I always say we're same arena, different rules, different blah, 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 blah. Depending on what your goals are, depending on who you are, depending on what your means are, people buying this weekend, dozens will sell minimum, maybe 100, who knows how many. Dozens of these will sell over the next week. Some of them will be horrific, stupid decisions, bought on credit, people with no money, people that don't know what they're doing, buying hoping it quadruples from here after already quadrupling or 10 timesing. And then some people, it's like, oh, hey, I forgot about that card. I was just flipping through my Sword Shield 136, or my Sword Shield promo binder the other day, and I realized I missed it. I realized I didn't have it. And oh, like, crap, I could have got it a year ago for 50 cents or $1. Today I'm going to pay $12. It's like, I don't care. I just want the card. Like, there will be reasonable purchases, and there will be dumb purchases. Don't make the dumb ones. Make conscious, grown-up decisions and own them. Manipulation, noise, all that stuff will go on. But, like, just don't let it affect you. Don't get influenced into buying things you wouldn't have bought otherwise. Question why you're doing it, think it through, and then do what you're going to do. I have a Greninja and Mimikyu in the PC I graded way back. Isn't the Mimikyu way lower pop? I have no idea what the pop is, but yeah. Walrus says, who in the right mind would try to solve the manipulation? Use it, let it flow through you. Grammar says firefly still cooking in the Northeast. So I just Googled it quickly. I Googled firefly endangered. I never verified. So I heard information around a campfire, had a camp outing, and I never verified the information. I just took it at face value. But firefly endangered, I Googled. While not all firefly species are endangered, many are experiencing population declines due to habitat loss, light pollution, and pesticide use. Some species, like the Bethany Beach firefly, are facing such severe threats they're being considered for listing under the Endangered Species Act. So, around me, though, very anecdotal. Around me, upstate New York, I don't see them nearly as much as I used to. Kind of a morbid thing. But, like, when I was a kid, used to run around a field. And one thing with fireflies, if you smack them when they're lit, they stay lit for a few minutes. That was a really cool thing when I was a kid. Kind of cruel, kind of mean. But yeah, I distinctly remember that being a thing, looking across the field and very frequently just seeing like tons of them. Not all the time. I feel like there was a firefly season of sorts, but I can't remember the last time that I looked around a field near me and seen thousands the way that I used to. Like this stock image on Google, I used to see things like that of just tons of them. Anyways, Grammar says they've definitely dropped off, but I'm also not seeking them out like when I was younger. I mean, technically I sought them out at times to but I also like I feel like I'd forget about them from time to time, and it's like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of fireflies in the field over there. Let me go play with them. Anyways, back to Pokemon. I can really get off topic very easily. 7 minutes, and it'll be the 4th of July. I recently learned that PayPal Goods and Services terms of service mention that buyer protection does not apply on items intended for reselling. How can you stay protected when buying from other people? Build up a reputation to where people will send to you first and then pay them PayPal friends and family. I know that's not an amazing solution, but like another actual solution is pay on a credit card. Pay on a credit card through PayPal Goods and Services. You have two people backing you up. PayPal backing you up potentially. If they realize that the items are intended for resale, then they won't back you up anymore. Your credit card. Your credit card is the last line of defense. Put 2 layers between you and the seller. No, you're fine, Thrifty. I'm very easily derailed, and I'm very happy to talk about whatever. Clearly, in my live streams. Pandito Force's IP addresses will always be different for your phone if you're on different Wi-Fi. If you're on mobile network, it can sometimes change based on region of the country or if you go between countries. So maybe, to be fair to Chase, maybe my IP address in Cleveland, I made sure that I was on the mobile network, thinking that that would keep the IP the same. I consciously didn't want to be on Wi-Fi. But anyways, yeah. Jonathan Flint says use the manipulation to your favor. Kirby's card says, once a box or case's market price gets comfortably over 1,000, what reason would you have to not to sell it on Probstein? You can't get 95% anywhere else, right? Probstein for sealed above $1,000 is actually insane. As we speak, I have several items with them. I have a couple. I got restocked 2 cases of Destined Rivals. PK and Ponga have pretty decent inventory stocked. I sent my cases straight to Probstein. I sent a couple recent Surging Sparks reprints to Probstein as well. There is an argument to be made selling privately, selling on Instagram, trying to get 100% of market. But like auctions sometimes will go higher than they should. Sometimes I've gotten over TCG Player market price or TCG Player low list, eBay low list on a Probstein auction too. So like I most frequently, that is what I'm selling with Probstein. So like I don't have a good argument because I agree with you and I send with them a lot. My new buy list will go up Monday. So if you've been following along, my current buy list is. Do I have it updated here? I don't think I even have it on this scene in OBS. But my current buy list was just me fishing. I didn't put up a new one for the week since I was. Oh yeah, right here. Okay, so this is an old one. This is my most recent one. Before last week. This is the one that I had up this week. So I still did arrange some new deals this week. I have a couple new things coming into me, but I didn't want to be inundated. I was still inundated with emails and DMs and stuff while I was traveling. But on Monday, I will have a new hot buy list up for sure. There are certain things we need. The bounty Fanatics put up for the Prismatic Evolutions last weekend, PK and Ponga pretty much got cleaned out. I will likely have Prismatic Evolutions on my hot buy list on Monday. So if you have any and you want to front run it, send me an email. I will buy from you first at likely 80% of market before I buy from other people. If I buy enough, if the right person hears that message and gets back to me, and on Sunday night I get back to them and lock down 2, 3, 4,000 packs, it might not hit my hot buy list. So get in early. Let's see. Calls Chase. I am me. Yeah. Frustrating. TCG Player blocks me all the time too. The last several times I've spent $1,000 on TCG Player in one go, I've gotten blocked every time. I can't buy in bulk. Like, these were not bought on TCG Player, and I could not buy them on TCG Player because anytime I've tried like specking on a card and buying 100 copies and spending $1,000, I've gotten blocked every time. TCG Player is a miserable site. I hate it. I switched from my credit union to Chase because I wanted a national bank so that if I had to, Van Gogh case, I could go and I could get cash or deposit cash. And I could also online bank, ACH, Wire, Zelle. My credit union didn't have that. Yeah, I did follow along a little bit with Instagram stories while I was on my trip. Late night, I tried catching up on messages after the kids went to bed. I did see that Rusty went to card party. I think I messaged. I feel like I messaged him for something over the weekend. I can't remember. Maybe it was just a story reply or whatever. But it seemed like he had a good time, which was nice to see. Rusty seems to be similar to me, doing a little bit of business pleasure, extending the business trips a little bit, having a good time. I see Grimer. I will do some meat talk in a little bit. 1 week from now, Ponga will be here. We will have a brisket going on the smoker. We will be less than 12 hours from leaving for New Jersey Collecticon. We will be going to Bierski's first. I will have a brisket in tow. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Jonathan Flint has honeybees. Started spinning the honey out of the frames yesterday. Finished late this evening. Nice to hear it. I was watering the garden. I looked at the forecast while I was gone. It rained a few times while we were gone, which was nice to see. My sister did stop over and check on the cats, and but yeah, I don't have any like automated watering set up. If I need to, New Jersey, I'll have my sister water the plants too, but I like to not give her too many projects while I'm gone. Let's see. If no SMV set got reprints, which stonks the hardest? I don't know. I have a little bit of all of them. Let's see. I have a little bit of all of them. Trying to think of one that got like the least amount of reprints, but yeah, I just don't know. It's not even worth speculating on. I have my skin in the game on all of them. Got my chips on the table. Krabby's card says, does Fanatics get close to market price on most cards like eBay? Generally speaking, I send 95% of my own personal cards to Fanatics, partially because my rates with Fanatics are lower than the rates I could get with James on eBay. But another part because like I truly think, and it might only be a couple percentage points cheaper. So like if theoretically eBay got consistently 5 or 10% better across the board, I would be much better off sending to James on eBay. But like I don't think that's the case on almost all of what I sell. So the last time I sent to James was only because of a volume thing, because I had so many gray felt hats that I wanted to spread the love. I wanted to spread them out. But yeah, generally speaking, they get market like most cards, especially in this boom. And maybe in a downtime, maybe one site more than the other suffers a little bit more. But I do Instagram highlight posts every week on the big consignor cards ending that weekend. I know like Greeny does a recap of James's auctions mostly after they ended. He usually does it around the time mine are ending. I don't know how big of a thing that is, but I'd imagine there's at least one card out there that got a little extra bit. Oh, hey, Greeny's live. I saw this card. I didn't realize that was there, and then someone bids on it. So, yeah, they get all the visibility that Fanatics provides, which is more than what Greeny and I do combined, I'm sure. And then the little bit of additional push that we give as well. But the comps are out there. Like, don't even trust me. I always tell people, like, go with the one you're more comfortable with. Go with the one that you are you think will be better for you. And if you want to try it, like if you have 50 cards, what I did myself, I tried everybody. I've consigned with everybody. I like to see, and part of it was like competitor research. I want to see how they're reporting sales. I want to see how they're aside from DC Sports, their back end is phenomenal. Their payout structure, they're like tracking of all the stuff. I think aside from DC Sports, I keep a spreadsheet, and some people don't give a crap. Some people are like, "Hey Dan, you don't even need to update my spreadsheet anymore. Just give me my money when it's time." But for my own records, I update like a living document, a living Excel, Google Sheet spreadsheet that will show you every card you sent to me, the tracking numbers, inbound, outbound, the dates they sold, the day that I paid you out. Like I like having that tracking personally in a consignment service. So I provide something that I would enjoy utilizing. If I knew how to build what DC Sports had, or if it wasn't $100,000 to pay somebody to build that out, like it probably would be, I would have that. Probably not coming anytime soon though. 10 years from now, you can only have prismatic or destined. What are you taking? Is that I don't like either. I think both are gonna go under MSRP. So I'm gonna just look at my actual holdings right now. I have more destined than I have prismatic for long-term holding. No prismatic is on the palette right now. 4 cases of destined are on the palette right now. So I guess being true to my walk, destined. Because if none of them go under MSRP, like I forecast they both will, then I truly might be in a world 10 years from now where the only long-term holdings I have of that, or 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, the only holdings I might have are destined. So talk versus walk, I feel like I want to say prismatic, like some people in here said. Zara Looking did say destined, but Krabbies and Jonathan Flint said prismatic. I feel like I want to say prismatic, but my actions are saying destined because those are the only ones on the palace. So talk versus walk. Do you think 2 Final Fantasy collector's booster boxes for a PSA or booster bundles, whatever they call them, for a PSA 10 Umbreon X is fair value? Do the math on what they're selling for. I don't know the market price off any of those off the top of my head. So do the math. That's all. Yeah, that's all I'll say there. Which one do I think? I guess I'll add more. Which one do I think I would like to hold better long term? I would rather hold the sealed generally. I don't spec in graded cards. I think graded cards, generally speaking, are consistently overvalued across the board. Universally overvalued, almost universally. So yeah, sealed. I like the sealed better. I'm not even a Final Fantasy guy. I'm not a Magic guy, but complete guess. Artwork wise, Destin is way better of a set. Everyone drinking too much of the Evolution Kool-Aid. ZNG's been open to send to the entire month. They weren't running new auctions, but they were accepting submissions all June, as far as I understand. I don't know if their auction. I think their auctions go live this Sunday, and James has a massive block going live Sunday. I had my first $100,000 week in quite a while. 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, I believe. For me to do 100,000 in a week is a lot. James's week, just going by what he shares on his stories, he's gonna have a couple $1 million week. I don't think he'll do $100 million for the year. If you do 2 million every week, that's $100 million a year. I don't think he's gonna have $100 million a year, but he's gonna have a bigger year than I have for sure. My consignments might do, obviously $100,000 week would be 5 million extrapolated out. My average week though is more like 40,000, 50,000. So I'm probably gonna have $3 million a year. That's not just consignments. That's my cards and consignments. The CGC Fanatics thing is really upping that a lot, even though the average value of them is low. When you sell 1,000 $30 cards, that's an extra $30,000 every week. That's an extra $1.5 million a year. So the CGC Fanatics thing is really pumping the total dollar amount, the total GMV quite a bit. Go see the Space Needle in Seattle in the big market. Can't remember the name. Yeah, I'll definitely tie in some touristy things if I go. I'm sure we'll extend it by probably not a whole week, probably not as long because it won't likely be a family thing. It'll probably just be me and the wife. Might be a long weekend, me and the wife. We'll see. Um, if you had to hold for 10 years and could only buy booster box at double MSRP, or can buy PSA 10s of the top 3 cards from each set whenever you want, which are you going with? Oh man. I feel like I try to time the bottom on the top 3 PSA cards, 10 cards from the set. Uh that's what I'd go with. I feel like my returns would be better. But I just don't like entering a booster box at $320. That even though many boxes after 10 years have been $1,000, whatever, and the compound annual growth rate on that would be attractive. I don't know if that'll hold forever, and I'm more confident in my I don't like the pops. I don't like either of these at all. But it's a good question for that reason. I'd lean slightly towards buying the PSA 10s. Oh, happy 4th of July. It's 12:07 a.m. So happy America Day to all you Americans out there. Colson says Pike Place Market. Nice to see you in here, Colson. Hope things are going well for you. I think that is the one and only Colson. A wise man once said, actions speak louder than words. All this nuanced talk, but look at all he's buying. If one loves modern arts but has a difficult time rationalizing the poor value relative to vintage grails, how do you stomach the buys of modern full arts? Example, Poncho Pikachu versus Shining Magikarp. I'm not a buyer of either. I'm not a buyer of either. If I loved the modern arts but had a difficult time rationalizing the poor value relative to vintage, I like truly the only way that I would buy and own ponchos if I was a multimillionaire, like to collect and consume, to buy to hold, to buy to not care about the future value, I would have to be like a very, very many millionaire net worth individual to justify. Like I can't justify that. It's insane to me to buy and that's whether it's a Poncho Mario Pikachu for 10 grand or a PSA 10 Shining Gyarados first edition, whatever that is, 10, 50, I don't even know what that is right now. But I just can't. I'm not at a point in my life where, and maybe it changes someday. Maybe I'm declining buying a Mario Pikachu for the PC at 35 for 10K. I could have bought it last year for 5K, and I just don't want to. Maybe I'm buying it for my PC in 10 years for $30,000. Maybe my net worth is 2, 3, 5 times what it is today, and maybe I'm PCing cards like that. Probably not. I would lean towards no, but who knows? Who knows where the world will take us? Yeah. Celestial TCG may or may not have been one of those affected by Chase blocking me. I apologize for that. But yeah, nice to see you in here. Olsen found a Paradox Rift booster box at a vending machine today. Nice big come up there. Yeah, Pike Place Market is the big market in Seattle. Let's see, where are we at? If you had to physically hold a puppy or a goldfish for 15 years, what would you choose? Very easy. I would choose the puppy. Soft, cuddly, versus slimy, scaly, yucky. Plus I think the goldfish might not enjoy being out of the water either. So for me and the puppy's sake, the puppy. Thrifty is also on Team Puppy. So far, he has flexed his vacation and nothing else. I agree that the likes are too high. Dan, how many Gold Star Greninjas and Umbreons and PSA 10 have you stored away for this unseen boom? I don't spec on slabs. When I grade slabs, I sell them. I graded years ago. I graded some of the early Greninja Gold Star PSA 10s. I think I remember selling them on eBay for like $99.99, which was good margin, which was a good flip. I sold the nines at like break even, slight loss maybe, and I sold the tens for like counting the grading cost, which you need to do. You can't. Oh, I sold it for 50 times what I paid for it. I sold it for 5 times what I paid for it with the grading cost. Breaking even, losing a little bit of money on the rest. It was a good play. It was a good play. I graded 30 of them and got like 2 or 3 PSA 10s, and the numbers worked out. Not crazy by any stretch of the imagination. Had I kept some of them, I don't think they're going for $1,000. I don't think they're going for $2,000, like some of the sold listings on eBay show. But yeah, I don't know. Dan, big fan. Love your Zelle payments is wild. Certified nursing assistant games at your service. CNA games. Nice to see you in here, Mason. Yeah, nice to see you in here, Celestial PCG. Celestial is one who sold me packs. There's definitely some consigners, some people that sell packs to me, some people that so there's some Zelle recipients in here for sure. Top 5 favorite modern art / cards. I'm so bad at top things, but there's a ton. Like what do we call them? I gotta go through all the damn things. I gotta say what's modern. Can I count the Mario Pikachu? Is 2016 modern, or are we talking 2023 and on? I'm terrible at these. I think I'm just gonna skip doing it. Quaxley is one of them. The Quaxley AR. It came with what? Scarlet and Violet base? I don't even know what set that was. SV1. I think I have it in Japanese and a PSA 10 that someone gave it to me. Dan, quick question. How do you do it? Like all of it. Thank you for your time. I am programmed to do it. That is how I do it. Thank you for your question. I was in Cleveland, but only on Sunday. I think we showed up on Sunday at 12:30, and I think we left by 4. I was there for half of the convention, barely. We had late nights. I've 2 kids that normally go to bed at 8:30 or so. We were up till 10:30, 11:30 most nights. A lot of walking. When we were in Cleveland, we walk a mile to the Science Center. We walked around in the Science Center all day. We walked we walked a lot. Niagara Falls, Canadian side, is a big hill. We were up and down the hill a million times, giving piggyback rides to my daughter. My son for a little bit too. I did not do my workouts this week. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to get back to my workout. I really tried. I was going to try. I was so tired, exhausted. We were waking up at like 10:30 in the morning. I put on a lot of miles. I definitely put on pounds on net though over the weekend. I ate more than I burned for sure. But yeah, I'm going to be back on the wagon tomorrow. I'm probably going to try to do like a makeup one instead of resting the whole weekend. I'm going to try to slot in an extra one. I'm going to make sure that in the 8-week duration, I'm going to have to account for ones that I missed with New Jersey, almost certainly too. But I will do the entire 8-week thing, 24 workouts in total. Couple will just be slightly postponed, but I'll get to them. Zard Lurking says, any Pokemon that looks like trash are my favorite. We've got a Trubbish and Garbodor fan. Dan, do you think someone can make a comfortable living selling only on TCG Player? This is a good and interesting and common question, and I'm going to give a very Dan answer. It depends. It depends on how much you live on. I'm going to make another video soon. I think I have it in my upcoming YouTube video ideas, but the Dan budget video. Why, Dan, would you walk us through your household spending? I made a video last year, my household spending in 2024. Or I think it was 2023 of June till that same time, like fiscal 2023 for the household. I'm going to do that again for 2024. Why is that relevant? This channel follows my business. This channel talks about my business goals, and it talks about like what I'm buying, what I'm selling, what I'm doing to run the business. And what I do to run the business is largely based on and works around my lifestyle and what it costs to run my lifestyle. And I think a lot of people like can I quit my job to do Pokemon full time? I have no clue. How much cash flow do you have? How much money do you have? How much inventory do you have? What's your annual spending? If your annual spending is $250,000 a year, and that's what you need to make to make your household budget balance, it's a lot less likely than if you only need 25 grand a year or 50 grand a year or 100 grand a year to make your household budget balance. So, Dan, do you think someone can make a comfortable living selling only on TCG Player? No idea. Do I think I could? Absolutely. I 2-income household, no debt. We live on 60 grand a year, and that's what my wife makes. After taxes, she makes less than that. So I have to top that up, fill all of our buckets, and then the rest is extra. I'm making a lot more than I need to right now, but like I know today I could quit doing everything else. I could quit the live stream, I could quit the consignment, and I could make money, enough money to get by. I could probably make 50 to 100 grand a year without too much difficulty selling on TCG Player. So it all depends on all that nuance, all that stuff, how it pertains to you. I know of people, to get more broad of the Pokemon space, in this market, I know of people making 6 figures in so many different fashions. I know of people making 6 figures solely on TCG Player or primarily on TCG Player, solely and or primarily on eBay, solely primarily through my consignment service, through James's consignment service. I know of people solely making that on grading plays, solely making it on CGC grading plays, solely making it on PSA grading plays. People solely vending, people solely making content. You can make a comfortable living, depending on how you can define comfortable, in almost any aspect in this current market. It is insane how much liquidity, how much capital, how much money there is in this space right now. Let's see. I'm at the point where Thrifty was talking about lightning bugs, so I'm still 30 minutes behind, but I'm trying. Let's see where we're at. Walrus, you need a raise. Mr. Walrus says, I will never be one of the people Dan knows making 6 figures. I'm not going to disclose anything I'm not supposed to disclose. But PK, I watched his live just before I went live. He said that he didn't just make 100,001 penny. Like, he used to make 6 figures. I don't know exactly how much he used to make, but he quit his job to do what he's doing today. So I'm not going to say he's making 6 figures now, but if he were making 6 figures, working not for me, but independently contracting for my business with his business, theoretically, he would be doing quite well. And I think Ponga, not Ponga. Ponga's doing well too, but only on the side, only a part-time gig. I hope Mr. Old School Pokemon, Mr. Nick, Mr. 24-hour eBay live stream, I hope he's got you guys not too far off. Because I feel like in this boom, in this market, I feel like he's doing pretty well. But I don't know. If not, I want to raise for Mr. Walrus. I want to raise for Mrs. Thrifty. Old School. Wonders why they go extinct. Used to splat them, I wonder. That's hilarious. I didn't catch that when I was talking about it live. Firefly talk is better talk than cardboard. Need meat talk next. Excited to sample some. Yes, I will be bringing a cooler full of brisket and pulled pork at minimum. I might do dino ribs, but maybe I'll do dino ribs for me and Ponga for dinner Thursday night. And maybe you'll just have to hear of the dino ribs. I don't know. Dino ribs are a lot more expensive. Can we please hear about this weekend's meat selection? So yeah, I'm definitely doing brisket. I'm probably doing pulled pork. Maybe I'll do... I don't know how it will carry as well. I could do pork belly, but I don't think it will transport quite as well, doing like pork belly burn ends. So I think it's safer to do brisket and pulled pork. I'll probably just stick with that, and then some fresh barbecue sauce as well. Anti-Shillator says, in your opinion and experience, do you think it's more worth vending 2 to 3 shows a month, or use that time instead to list on TCG Player, eBay, and source more card slabs? It all depends on what you're selling and how your sell-through is going. To test that, I would try doing both. I would maybe you have to work a little bit more hours than you want to for the first month or so, but try both. Try both and go really hard at both and see which one suits you better. Not even just money. I am doing like I am shunning certain things for my business that could make me good money. I am not all about maximizing the money. I'm about a combination of maximizing the money and maximizing the enjoyment, the happiness, all that stuff. So yeah, it really, that's very personal. It all depends on your area, where you're vending, what you're netting on that, how much stuff you have coming in. Way too many factors for me to just outright say. Me personally, I would like 2 to 3 shows a month sounds hectic, sounds crazy. Some people love it. I like going to shows a few times a year. Going to more than a few times a year, going a few times a month, way too much for me. I couldn't do it personally. Just like live streaming. PK and Pong are having a great time live streaming as much as they are. I go hang out with them and I help them live stream too. We did the inaugural one right here. Had a good time. I can't do that 10 times a week. PK is doing it 10 times a week right now. Ponger's doing it twice a week. I couldn't do it twice a week. I just, yeah, so I'm optimizing for what I enjoy, what I'm good at, all that stuff, all of the above. Walrus says if you have cash, local shows are great for buying and trading into better inventory. Hi, Mr. Mason. All is going very well. CAC Cleveland, better than Card Party, I hear. I had a good time with it, but I mentioned earlier, if I had attended Card Party instead, I feel like I would have generally had a better time tied to the convention, tied to all that than I did. But overall, like, had a very solid convention, had a very solid family vacation. No regrets whatsoever. I'm not about Florida in June. I'm not about Florida in late June, especially. And I could be wrong here. Maybe in the fall after I go to Card Party West, maybe I say like, I can't believe I used to think I'm more of a Collecticon guy. I can't believe there's clips out there of me saying I'm more of a Collecticon guy than a Card Party guy. But I truly think I am. And I think I'll go to Card Party in the fall, and I think I'll tell you I had a great time, saw and hung out with great people, and I'll probably go to more in the future. But I just generally think that I'll favor Collecticons over Card Parties. I just think they're more my scene. They're more my, like, I might be wrong though too. And maybe I go, my kids are kind of young to go across the country for that far, that long. But maybe 2, 3, 4 years from now, when they're a little bit older, if they're really into Pokemon, maybe I drop Collecticons entirely. And maybe I'm going to regionals. They're playing the game. Maybe I'm going to card parties. Maybe I'm going to worlds. Like, I'm entirely open, as I have in the past 4 years being full time. Speaking of that, it's my anniversary in 1 week. 1 week. It is my anniversary of putting in my 2-week notice at my job, I believe. Or maybe it was just the other day. So if I still worked at my company, I want to say my start date was like July 11th of 2011. I put in my 2-week notice shortly before my 10-year anniversary at work, and they walked me out 1 week into my 2-week notice. So it's really close to being a full 4 years full time, a full 4 years full time. Yeah, because it was 2021 that I went full time. But anyways, I need to verify that. Sassy Otto says, hello, Dan. We both want to know when Lambo. I'm more of a Kia Carnival guy, but how's it going, Sassy Otto? Nice to I was gonna say nice to see you, but I'm not seeing you. Insane eBay store. If anyone is unfamiliar, Sassy Otto. If you're aware of P Football Pete, think P Football Pete-esque. Very high volume, high quantity Pokemon stuff. Very solid pricing on it. So definitely check out Sassy Otto on eBay if you haven't. So I did back in the late fall, early winter. I was doing Air Alert. If you Google Air Alert, you can see the entire program just laid out right there. It's like a 16-week thing for strength training your legs primarily. It is a jump program to increase your vertical, to dunk, basically. A lot of basketball players use that and similar things like it. I use ChatGPT. I fed it Air Alert. I fed it a couple other things, And I'm like, let's build for me an 8-week thing to try to panic, catch up, and drop a little weight and be able to dunk by Charlotte ClutchCon. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's too little too late, but I want to get back on track of losing weight and all that. That said, it's a lot of jumping. It's step ups, it's leap ups, it's what are they all called? Let me, I don't know where it's saved in my phone. I don't know if I can find it quick. Let me see if I can find it quick in my Google Photos. Not coming up. But yeah, lunge jumps, calf raises, step ups onto like a box thing. A lot of different jump type things. I can't remember all of them, but I have it screenshotted in my phone. Walrus saying this guy's gaslit himself into thinking he quit and didn't get fired. Yes. So my old job, if they didn't pay me, they would have technically like let me go, but they made sure to pay me for the week that was within my 2-week notice. Otherwise, I actually had to pay them back. I had to pay them back for like a semester worth of my master's program that they had paid on my behalf. They basically gave me a free ride master's, and then a year and a half after doing that, before it was fully forgiven, I bailed. I bailed for Pokemon. So had they fired me, had they fired me for cause, I would have owed it. Had they let me go, downsized me, whatever, laid me off, they would have had to forgive my loans. So they specifically didn't do that. They just said like, hey, we're going to keep paying you, but don't come in, which was nice. It was nice to have an extra week doing Pokemon full time. Where are we now? How's it going, Steve's Collectibles? Nice to see you in here. Pokemon question: when this bear market comes, what happens to sets like Evolving, Fusion, Zenith, etc. Since they're out of print, do they just stay stagnant for many years until bull market comes again? Generally speaking, and I don't have like the charts in front of me, the data to prove it or anything. Generally speaking, that's what I feel like is going to happen. If it is like, it doesn't necessarily have to happen, but if and when a bear market comes, if and when a downturn, correction, whatever you want to call it, if and when a slow period comes, which I think will come at some point. It's all relative. What is slow exactly? Slow relative to today, slow relative to the past 6 months is like booming if it's only minimally slower. But anyways, if you look over the price history, and unfortunately, TCG Player, Collector, like all these compilation sites, they keep like a year. Pokédata might keep 2 years if you pay. Very few data sites keep like years and years worth of data. If you could look at the Celebrations UPC 5-year chart, if you could look at like a lot of these things 5-year chart, what things tend to do in Pokemon is that they like go fairly flat, slow and steady like this. I know in today's market, it's all this. All it is this and this. But historically speaking, the 11 years that I've been around, things will do this for a long time. And they'll be kind of flat and they'll be kind of maybe slightly up, slightly down within 10-15%. They'll be flat, calling that flat. Hidden Fates ETBs, years. They were 150, 200 bucks. And then they gapped up. Sword Shield, it was doing what it was doing. And then it just gaps up. Greninja Gold Star, it gapped up. It's probably going to go too high and it's going to come back down. Mimikyu, it gaps up too high and then it's going to go back down and it's going to kind of be steady. Things will like stagnate and be steady, historically speaking, quite often. So I could see Crown Zenith. It was 5. It was 5. It was 5. It was 5. Sea and Sky, things everywhere. And then it just gapped to 10. I could see it at some point gap into 15 or 20, or just kind of staying there for years and being stagnant and being not a good place to have your money. I don't see Crown going down 50%. And this is one thing that I kind of need to clarify. And I think it's a lot of times when people watch my shorts on Instagram or my TikTok reels or I repurpose my live streams for short content to post elsewhere. And people hear me say something for 30 seconds and they miss all my disclaimer, Dan, all my nuance. And they're like, this guy's saying things are going to go under MSRP again. And if you watch my live streams, you know, when I say that things are going to go, there's going to be a slowdown, there's going to be a downturn. When I say things are going to go under MSRP, I only specifically mean Prismatic, Journey, Destined. When I say everything has been available under MSRP, I don't mean 151's going back under MSRP. I don't mean Crown's going back under MSRP. How dumb would that be? To like, everything in Pokemon has been under MSRP, so everything will be available under MSRP. That doesn't mean base set, EX Team Rocket Return. That doesn't mean these sets are going back under MSRP. Obviously, I'm not saying SV1 through SV5 are going back under MSRP. I'm saying only the sets, likely, and maybe some more, but like only the sets that haven't ever been. I am quite confident Prismatic, Journey, and Destined will become available under MSRP at some point, and you'll be able to buy them from Sassyattle. Maybe Sassyattle will be holding them tightly and letting P Football Pete do the clear outs, whatever. But people listen to the clip and they think that I'm calling for SV base and evolving. Like, they think I'm calling for like all these older sets that have been available for MSRP for a long time. They think I'm calling for them to go under MSRP. And then they get really angry. Ugh, this guy's saying all my stuff's going down. I have pallets of Scarlet and Violet, SV1 through SV5. Pallets of Sword Shield. I don't think those things will do amazingly. Like if the hobby retracts and goes down over the next 2-3 years in a bear market, a broad bear market for 2 or 3 years, I think the palette could lose 10%, 15%. But I don't think it's going down 20, 25, 30, 50%. Not any stretch of the imagination. Do I think Destined Prismatic going down 50%? Yes, because I think they go down to MSRP. But I don't call that, sometimes in a thumbnail, sometimes in a title, I'll say like crash. I don't think that's actually a crash. When PS5s go from $1,000 because they're not distributed enough to meet demand, I don't call that a crash. I wouldn't say PS5s crashed from 1,000 to 500. They just became available. I won't, like, I'll probably say it in some titles and thumbnails because YouTube. If and when Destined goes under MSRP, I will say in thumbnails and titles that it crashed to MSRP. But realistically, as a logical human being with a brain, I will say and I will know that Destined Rivals became available at its intended price for some amount of time after some amount of time due to temporary supply constraints, due to temporary massive obscene levels of demand. That's all my opinion, all my thoughts. Look at evolutions after 2020, 2021. That's probably the best example. Will it mirror that? Maybe yes, maybe no. And evolutions, it went to 1,000, and I don't remember the exact price history. Let me try and pull up something that might help me. But evolutions peaked above 1,000. I don't think I'm gonna have great resolution on this. Evolutions peaked above 1,000, and then it went down to like, I have it in 2023. So I have it in 2021 being over 1,000. And then in 2022, I see 772. In 2023, I see 760. And in 2024, I see 805. So it fell 20, 30%. Like, I could see certain things doing that. But if and when we go through some kind of a crash, downturn, whatever. But like, I don't see 30, 40, 50% coming to things that are out of print, out of rotation. That said, last time around, like base set boxes peaked at 30, 40,000 in 2020. And then they crashed like over 60% to $12,000, $13,000. So certain things did, certain things could, but it's very case by case, item by item. Do I think base will again crash under 15 again? I'm fairly confident in saying, and I'm not guaranteeing it, but I'm fairly confident. Like, I don't think base set booster boxes will go under 15,000 again. I want to say they're above 20 now. They're not quite 30 like that one heritage sale, but I really don't see them going under 15 again. I don't see evolutions going under 800 or 900, maybe not even under 1,000 again. I don't see Evolving Skies going under maybe 1,500 again. It's at 18, 19, whatever it is. Could it go to 15, 14? Absolutely. I would be surprised if it went under 1,000, under 1,200. But can it not whatsoever? I can't say that either. Like, but I don't think it will. What What do you think about those who sell raw cards in bulk where PSA 10 worth at least 5 times as much? Um, some people that sell raw cards in bulk are pre-grading them. So they might sell 1,000 raw cards that they pre-graded, and there might be like no PSA 10s in there. I have not pre-graded these. The print quality on these is pretty rough. I might like fan through these really quickly. You can see right now, they're not penny sleeved. They were in a 5-row with Greninja Gold Stars and other cards. So like none of these are probably PSA 10 when they were produced. They've not been stored amazingly. So like, yeah, I think it's reasonable. It all depends on your business model. There are people that do well selling gradable cards, and other people do well too off of that. They advertise them as supposed to be mint / pack fresh, when in reality they're full of issue, print lines, white dots, edges, small dents. While if you're lucky, you end up with a PSA 9. I mean, PSA 9 is mint by definition. MINT, it says in capital letters on the slab. So I think it's entirely reasonable to sell cards as mint that grade a PSA 9. Basically, they kept the gem mint and deceived you with the word mint pack fresh. If you ask for explanations, they will answer PSA 9 equals mint. I think that's entirely reasonable. What I think is unreasonable, I think it's unreasonable to buy cards advertised as mint and expecting gem mint. I don't care how high the gem ratio is on them. I don't care if they grade 85% PSA 10s. If you buy 50 cards on TCG Player labeled as near mint, if you buy cards on eBay labeled as mint, they're not gem mint. You should not buy them with the expectation of gem mint. If you go in and you see them in hand, like that's the pro of going to an LGS. That's the pro of going to a convention, seeing them in hand. But if you are buying a condition that they're not selling, you are the one in the wrong. And that's not even my opinion. That's just statement of fact. If they're selling as mint pack fresh, they're specifically not selling gem mint. I personally, I go so far as I'm this bad of a salesman. I'm this open, honest, transparent. When I sell, like if I sold these on eBay, when I used to sell on eBay, I would say right in my thing, do not buy these if you're trying to buy a gem mint card. Do not buy these if you're trying to grade a PSA 10. I specifically said that in all my raw card listings because I didn't want people having a bad experience. That said, some people bought from me, didn't read my description, and they got mad at me. It's like, what world we live in? I'm going out of my way to get less sales. People still buy from me. So like, yeah, very frustrating. What are your thoughts on investing in 151 and Crown Zenith loose packs? I've mentioned it before, but I bought a few weeks ago on net. I gained an additional 3,000 to 4,000 151 packs. Some for the live streams, some for long-term holdings, but I'm buying 151 at $9 to $9.25 a pack. I like it more than certain things. I like it less than other things. Very Dan answer, but I made a tier list and it went live on my channel on Monday. And on that tier list, I had 151 very high on that tier list. I like it more than most things. It could go down, and I said it in my other video. Let me see. Yes, so here's my tier list. I had 151 in S tier. This was July 2025 investing. Spoilers for if you didn't watch my video. Here's my tier list without the 50 minutes of rants around the tier list. I have it as S tier. So all the ones in S and A and B tier, I am much more prone to be buying and holding for the longer term or restocking my live stream or whatever than the ones in C and D tier for all the reasons that I disclosed in my video on Monday. So yeah, check that out if you haven't. Oh, we're getting the fisherman again because I forgot to turn that off as I switched. Isn't that based on the individual's capital versus credit leverage? I think that's talking about like doing TCG Player full time. All of it is dependent on what it costs you to live your life and what you have right now and yada yada. Crazy price movement on SM210. I think I asked you about it a couple months ago. Your opinion long term. Should I sell mine? I will never tell people what they should or shouldn't do. I tell people what I would do. I have some amount left, not many. I'm going to sell mine. I'm going to sell into the hype. Could they double again? Could they double again? Absolutely. Is it a cool card? Is it reasonable to keep? Like, if you have the money, opportunity cost, blah, blah, blah. Is it reasonable to keep one in your PC, keep one in your binder, whatever? Absolutely. Like, do whatever you want to do. But I don't know your opportunity cost. I don't know your situation, so I cannot advise. But if I had 100 of them, I would sell 90 of them extremely quickly. Nice to see you, PokeMT. I talked about hanging out with you a little bit earlier. I missed it in my initial Cleveland Collecticon recap, but a little bit later I talked about it. Nice seeing you, getting some beers, getting some barbecue out on the town in Cleveland. It's definitely going to correct and find a new bottom, but what will that bottom be? The $1 million question. I'll probably hold for longer term. I've already held for 5 years. Price target in 5 years. Of the SM210, I could see it being exactly what it is today. I could see it being less than it is today. I could see it being double what it is today. Might go up, might go down, might stay the same. I don't spec on cards like that. I know I have a fat stack of Mimikyus. I was not really specking on these. I was buying from somebody for like half of market price at the time. I think market price on these was a quarter at the time, and I paid 10 or 15 cents a piece. And I forgot about them. I set them back and I forgot about them. But yeah, all depends on your cash flow, blah, blah, blah. I think, like, again, if you're at a point in your journey where you do this part-time side hustle, like as a business to make money, or even full-time, if you don't have enough capital to tie up all your time, like I know of people in the space, and I was this person in the space where I had more time on my hands than capital. And I would sit waiting for a PSA return to come back because I needed the money. I needed the proceeds to buy more. And I wasn't looking at buying anymore because I needed cash flow from somewhere. These days, I'm not really that way anymore. I'm at a different point in my journey. So these days, it's more reasonable to like be more patient with different things. But if you're confident in your ability to buy and sell and make margin constantly, again, selling, getting that money and having that to buy stuff at 80% and flip it and buy more and grade and flip, and you're going to outcompete what the card will do on its own in most instances if you know what you're doing. So yeah, all depends on where you are in your journey. Dan, what's the over under odds that TPCI chalks anything prior to prismatic as a lost cause and focuses only on prismatic forward? Mason, I'd be interested in your input too. I think it's fairly likely. I've said it before and I'll say it many, many more times. I think Pokemon cares about having things available at or under MSRP, widely available. Every set in Pokemon's history has been, aside from 3. Prismatic, Journey, Destined. Surging was for a day or two, or an hour or two. I'm not sure exactly how long, but for a short time, Surging was. Surging is high on their list. Like they want to reprint Surging more. They would love to. But like I know Mason mentions SV5 and newer. I think SV5 is a reasonable cutoff. SV1 through SV4 were all available for like a year on $100, under $100, let alone MSRP. SV5 was available for less time. SV6 was available for less time. SV7, SV8 available for hours or days. So like I think, again, if we looked at my tier list, if we, depending on what angle we want to frame it from, I am most confident Destined will go under MSRP. I am less confident. I'm most confident Journey will. Weaker set, very, very new. I'm slightly less confident Destined will. I'm less confident Prismatic will. I'm even less confident Surging will, because Surging already has. And then the further back you go, and once you get, like Mason, he draws the line at SV5, or SV4, I guess, technically. I'm quite confident SV1 through SV4 won't go under MSRP again. They would surprise me quite a bit. But SV5, SV6, SV7, SV, like, each one you get newer surprises me less. Destined, Journey don't surprise me at all. So yeah, that's the way I think of it. Things are getting quite sparse, especially Twilight. Yeah, allocations will be tiny probably. I just got 2 cases of Destined last week or 2 weeks ago for $129 a box. I got 12 boxes at $129 or $139 a box. I can't remember. From one distro, and the other distro didn't give me anything. Way to dodge a killing ability, Dan. Yeah, Ernie's got a lot of good content for sure. Mason makes content only for Alex at Nostalgianomics these days. I did see that Alex responded. I mowed my lawn earlier. I mowed my lawn. First thing I did when I got home, I helped unpack a little bit, and then it had been a week since I had mowed the lawn, so I had to mow the lawn quick. I think I listened to your video, and then I listened to him respond to your video in fairly quick succession. Actually, your video, I remember now. I listened to your video Wednesday night while I was on my laptop paying out consigners. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, one of them. I can't remember now. Um, yeah, I think there's a lot of people I think there's a lot of good content out there. People will talk about the downsides and talk about the nuance and talk about, but there's more. There's more of the like rocket emojis only. Things go up, things can't go down. It is what it is. People like the dramatic content. It needs to either be very dramatically positive or very dramatically negative. The nuance, the in between, like the type of content I make. I know my place. I'm antiviral. My ceiling is very low. I'm very tall, so it's a little bit difficult to navigate with such a low ceiling. But I get by. I do it. I've been doing it for 4 years now. Over 4 years on YouTube, almost 4 years full time. You expect people to read, Dan? Not even Europeans are capable of that amount of comprehension. That must be when I was talking about my descriptions saying that do not expect PSA 10s. Josh Perez says, I've hit a wall with buying and selling and would love your guidance. Happy to pay for your time. What's the best way to connect? Instagram DMs, Discord DMs, and emails. My website is in the description below, Catch 'em All Collectibles. There's a contact form on my website. So any of those methods, I will get back to you. That said, I have a short week. I am definitely not doing any new consults next week or the following week with my travel. I have Charlotte in early August. I have a lot of things coming up very quickly. I could probably squeeze in some consults like the final week in July and then mid and late August. But yeah, I don't talk about them a lot, but I do if anyone's interested. Some people don't like at all the Patreon, and then they really don't like consults. $100 an hour, I do. $50 for half an hour, $100 for an hour. I make more money an hour doing certain things in the space, in the business. And I make less money doing a lot of things in the space, in the business. If you have interest, if you think I can provide that value to you, feel free to hit me up. I will consult for you. I never will tell people what to do. I will tell people what I would do in that instance. And I've had a lot of good feedback. I have some people that consult with me on a recurring basis, once a quarter, a couple times a year, whatever it may be. Some people are one and done too. They have one thing they got to get through, one hurdle, whether it's taxes, whether it's business setup, business structure. But yeah, that's there if you're interested. Continuing on, I am only a couple comments away from the end of the chat. If anyone has any final questions, feel free to put them in. But I am probably going to wrap up relatively soon. We are nearing the 4th of July in Central Time. So maybe we'll get 11 more minutes out of this if a couple questions come in. And I can wish Central Time Zone a happy 4th of July. But if not, we will see, and I will send people off in any case. Steve Collectible says, yeah, I'm diamond handing it. I'm in for 8 to 15 Canadian, just under 90 sealed copies. Definitely one of my best specs. So in Canada, you mentioned Canadian. I was just in Canada. It was my first time handling the like plastic money. I think you guys have had that for a long time now. I think you guys have had that for like over a decade. But last time I went there, and it was probably my parents paying for everything at the time, but I handled some of the paper money. The plastic money was interesting. Interesting little anecdote, interesting little thing. Non-Pokemon again, but I don't have a good credit card for international spend. So a lot of them have a foreign transaction fee of 2 or 3%. And then additionally, most of them give you a very, very poor conversion. So if one USD is like 133 Canadian, a lot of them will give you only $1.30 or $1.28 or whatever. They'll get you a few percent on the fee plus a few percent on the conversion. So what I did is I went to a currency exchange, one that was like under 3% to convert, and I converted $1,000 USD into Canadian, and yeah, we spent it all. We ate very well. We went to the arcade. We did the go-karts. We did everything. We spent a lot of money. But they actually rejected 3 or 4 of my $100 bills in my wallet they rejected. It was funny because like at first I thought he didn't like the old ones. I had some of the old ones, some of the new ones, and then I'm like, hey, I'll replace all the old ones with new ones. It's like I know these are all good, but I got them from my bank and I just knew they were good. Uh, he declined one of the old ones and I swapped it for a new one. And then he was going through the rest, really fine tooth comb. A lot of times in the US, people will use the pen on 50s and 100s. The pen, if it turns up like purple, basically there's starch in the paper and it's a fake bill. And yeah, but they didn't turn up purple. But after he penned them, he UV lighted them. He held them up to the light individually, 10 of them, for like 30 seconds each, 15, 20 seconds each. And he rejected 3 or 4 of them. So I pulled out my wallet and I was just swapping them. I'm like, do you like this one? Do you like this one? Finally, he found 10 of them that he liked, and he gave me $1,300 Canadian. I think at the time on Google, it was like 1330. So 1300 over 1330. Let's see what that percentage is. I got 97.7% on my money, which was reasonable, under 2.3% to convert. And then I wasn't paying the fee, and so yeah, I just wanted to share that since we were talking Canadian. In my mind, 1 USD is still $1.40 Canadian. In my mind, 1 USD is still like 100 yen, but I know those numbers have changed a lot over the years, up and down, and that's just where it lies today. But yeah, we spent it all right down at the end. We got some we got some souvenirs, we got some stuff. My parents washed my dog, so we picked them stuff up at duty free. We picked stuff up for my sister for checking on the cats at duty free on the way out, spending the last of our dollars. UAP says Europe is a different market. I know. To me, the dropping of sets seems reasonable. We just got 151 bundles and prismatic bundles together with a very low amount of surging boxes. Not expecting more. Yeah, I've been getting little things here and there. Like I just got 12 boxes of Destined. I got some more Blooming Waters, 151. Like I don't know if I fully covered this. I need to go back for a second. I'm surprised personally. Where'd it go? So I'm surprised personally that they're still doing Blooming Waters. Last summer, like for several months, 151 was widely available. Again, not under MSRP, but like significantly under MSRP. I'm surprised that I'm getting new allocations of Blooming. I personally, partly because I have a lot of it, partly because like I want Destined to go under MSRP so that I can get more of it. But I think they should stop printing 151. Like please, Pokemon, stop everything pre SV5. If you you missed out. Too late. Sorry, you missed out. It was there for a long time. I want them to make everything widely available. I think it's good for the hobby if everything is widely available for some amount of time under MSRP. So I think they will abandon most pre-SV5, if not all of it. The newer it is, the less likely that they're done with it. But I just wish they'd drop it entirely. Like, why do you keep making Blooming? It's a great set. People want it. I'm ready for that $20 gap up though. Whenever it comes, not $20 gap up, the gap up 220. Whenever it comes, I'll kick myself and I'll say like, oh man, I wish I had another 10,000 packs. But I'm ready for that gap up to 15, 16, 18, 20. At some point, I'm quite confident it will come. I just don't know when. If I knew, I'd have a lot more packs right before it does it. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let me get back to the bottom. When's the new zoo video coming out? I do have to make a new zoo video sometime in July. I've been bad. The live streams are going. This guy is doing them over on eBay Live. I'm gonna do. So for this Monday, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I have to record this weekend. I'm recording both this Monday and the next Monday. I need to do a MetaZoo Saturday sometime in July probably. But sometime soon I'm gonna do a Q2 recap for the live streams. The live streams were definitely slowing some to start out Q2, middle of Q2. Destined Rivals bumped him up like crazy. But yeah, I'll cover that all in a lengthy video. And I'll do MetaZoo, talking about Torrential Tides, talking about the Flex decks. Actually, I went and I engaged with the MetaZoo booth at Collecticon. I think the convention packs are really cool. I saw some people deeply engaging with the convention packs. the exchanges, the chase cards, the sketch cards. I think it's really cool. I didn't feel like spending thousands of dollars trying to chase and pursue every variant, every like trade-in one that you can do. But I like that it's a thing. I guess both as an owner of MetaZoo that will financially benefit if they perform well. I think it was an interesting idea. Obviously, it's a business after all, and they want to make money. But I haven't watched the videos. I heard that they dropped some new videos on like the organized play, and I'm really interested. I'm interested if Mason. I don't know if Mason's gonna engage with that. I don't know if he's gonna own it. I don't know. I'll be interested if he makes any videos talking about MetaZoo's organized play plan and structure and layout. I don't know what it is. I haven't watched the video, but I don't know if he's watched the video either. I'll be interested to hear other people who are into organized play, running events for Pokemon and other things, Magic, One Piece, Lorcana, whatever. I'll be interested to hear, like, is it good, is it bad? I'll be interested to hear players' testimony. Basic Trainer, maybe Ivy will play it again at some point. I'll be interested to hear people engaging with it and how it goes. And so Mason says there's not much to it. Sometimes sometimes simplicity is a good thing. Kiss, keep it simple, stupid. Or maybe like there's not much to it, it's kind of bad. I don't know which way that is, but I'm interested to hear and see how that goes. I think I did see in Discord something about like serialized cards that you could get for playing the game. I don't know, but President Whale Cabal is happy that I mentioned Lorcana. I mentioned Lorcana specifically because I was quoted on YouTube as saying that MetaZoo will outlive Lorcana. Well, MetaZoo died and then it was resurrected. So MetaZoo 2.0, I think, will outlive Lorcana, but I'm very biased. Dan having sketchy $100 bills and now supposed Zell issues. Dan about to be on the news. It was funny because like I don't have my wallet in my pocket. I don't have a $100 bill. I don't think I have a $100 bill within reach. I should always have one within reach, shouldn't you? But I know they have the strip. They have the Ben Franklin watermark thing that you can see with the light. They have the gold foil that turns like green and gold or green and like darker, whatever it is. They have the micro printing within like the 100. I know a lot of the security features and they're legitimate. I actually, I need to make content with it at some point. I have a money counter that like, I don't know what it does to verify the legitimacy of the money, but like, theoretically, it's supposed to reject. It's supposed to stop counting, and it's supposed to reject fake bills. So these came from a bank. They went through their money counters. That I actually asked my bank. One time I was withdrawing money at Chase and at my local credit union, both of them independently. I'm like, those money counters are pretty handy, aren't they? And they're like, yep. And I just asked them a couple questions about it. I'm like, are those the ones, because I know they exist, are those the ones that will like spit it out if it's fake, if it's bad? And they're like, supposed to be. And I asked them like, how often does that happen? And it sounds like it's pretty rare there. But they do see it from time to time. So long, crazy anecdote came up from my travel over the weekend. But it was interesting. These things have been 3 times plus verified to be legitimate, genuine. But this currency exchange in Niagara Falls, Canada was like not having it. They sold a bunch of Pokemon too. They had Pokemon plushes from Alibaba. They had Pokemon singles, very, very expensive. They had Pokemon boxes. It was funny. It was like, it was a convenience store. It was a currency exchange. It had Pokemon cards. It was like, they did it all there. They did it all. Go-to seafood. Oof. Crab legs, Snow and King are like tied. They're good in different ways. Depending on the day, depending on the mood. Bacon wrapped scallops, tying in a little bit of land food to enhance the seafood. Scallops right up there. Lobster, shrimp, clams, all of it pretty much, except fish. Fish is the worst food from the sea by far. Like crustaceans, they gotta have a shell of some kind. But yeah, Revolut is like a bank or a credit card. I don't know what Revolut is exactly, but I've heard about it. I don't use it. I feel like it's kind of like Wise though, isn't it? I don't have that. Would you recommend buying Twilight Masquerade and Paldea Evolve booster boxes now, or give more time to see if they go down any? Like I said, I will never give people advice on what to do. Oh, I'm showing my I showed my calendar because I pulled that up over my I pulled that up over my, let me go back. My, whatchamacallit. So yeah, this is my tier maker. Would I recommend buying Twilight Masquerade and Paldea Evolved booster boxes now or give more time? So Twilight Masquerade, I have in B tier, and Paldea Evolved, I have in A tier. So this is not advice for you. This is what I'm doing. I generally like Paldea Evolved better than Twilight Masquerade, but I like 151 Infusion and Evolving better. Money is fungible. Money does not care what it goes into. If you are solely investing, why do you limit yourself to just Twilight and Paldea Evolved? One bit of nuance I can add to that is like, if you're getting offered Twilight and Paldea at 80% of market and the other things you have to pay 100% of market, like, yes, they should go up the tier list higher. And I gave that nuance in my 50-minute tier list video. But opportunity cost adjusted, I like them both, but I like other things more. If you're investing, you don't care what you're putting your money into. Like, put them into the best opportunity. And that tier list is what I think are the best opportunities for me, for my business at the current time. Mason says Fusion and S is a take. See, this is, again, more nuance. You got to watch my 50-minute video to get all the nuance. That's not Fusion Strike booster boxes. That's not Evolving Skies booster boxes. That was loose packs. Loose packs I was talking about. But Delusion Strike Fusion is very clearly an S IMO. So like, you need the 50-minute video for all the nuance. I was in Niagara Falls from Monday to today. I just got back today. Yeah. Why blooming? Why 151 bundles? Please do the other things. I'm breaking down all the blooming. I hate those huge boxes. I hate all that error. It's terrible. I need more 151 UAP. I'm going to send you a DM right now. I'm going to send you a DM that says 151 me. I want a lot more of it. 151 me. There, I just DM'd you UAP. Let's talk. Tomorrow, I have 10 or 12 Instagram DMs to catch up on. I have a couple more emails, a couple more Discord messages. I'm getting fully caught up on my messages before I go to bed. And I'm finishing this live stream before I go to bed. So I'm probably going to be up a couple more hours. Mason says 151 packs will be $20 before year's end. They definitely could be. They definitely could be. I would lean towards no, but like, I would not be surprised at all if they are. 151 will buy all the 151. Anyone wants to sell me at 80% of market. I am paying 85 to 90%, I think. Maybe I'll have my new hot buy list for Monday. I'm paying strong as well. See, I don't do anything on like Facebook or I don't get into the Discords that have much of that going on. I'm the one in Discord saying like, I want 151, and I get some people selling to me. But yeah, how's it going, Skya? Skya dropping that fire emojis. Nice to see you. Grinding TCG player right now. Experience share is not a fan of scallops. I'm a big fan of scallops. Pan seared, get that nice sear. Wrap them in bacon too. Wrap them in bacon. Now we're cooking. Bacon wrapped enoki mushrooms. Thank me later. I have no idea what an enoki mushroom is. I put it in my Google though. I put it in my Google so that I can look into enoki mushrooms. Torrential tides, I believe, maybe that was an autocorrect, will be printed a lot less than base from what I gather. If prices of tides start to increase, it could affect base set prices and would help store confidence. Yeah, base set has definitely gotten pretty cheap. Maybe I'm crazy. I'm definitely kind of crazy. I went on Hills recently and I bought 6 more cases of MetaZoo base. So not financial advice. If you are looking for fair sealed cases, not searched, all that good stuff, Hills has boxes for 65 of MetaZoo base, and they have cases for 840. Slight case premium, but yeah, they send them sealed, and I realized I only have like 5 sealed cases of MetaZoo base. Aside from the pallet, I rounded out to like 10 or a little bit more. Not financial advice though. UAP says, at this point, I'd rather buy Sun and Moon and XY than Fusion. Oh, yeah, I'm not rating this set. Mason needs 151 too. I mean, 151 is like actively getting reprints. So I don't know how many more they have in the chamber, but like bundles have dropped like crazy and Blooming Waters have dropped like crazy. Duke says, thank you for the chat tonight. Gave me something to listen to while I list 21,000 cards on TCG Player. Is that with the help of a Roka or a Fizzbatch or whatever? I hope so. Sun and Moon and XY is so wild. Like, market price is not a thing in Pokemon. I've made a video on that before. But like, the more current it is, the more liquid, the more transacted it is, the tighter the market price is. But when you're talking Sun and Moon, if you look at TCG Player, if you look at eBay, there might be like 2 sales of a box in a year. And then if you look at private, Instagram, this, that, the box might be $2,000 to $4,000 and you have no clue. Like, if I could get a box closer to $2,000, I would buy it. And one bit of nuance I put in the video too is like, I have Journey Together in D tier, but at the right price point, I would buy $50,000 worth of Journey Together. I have Evolving at S tier, but if you're buying it at 110% of market, it falls down a bunch. There's nuance behind all of this, always. That's 50-minute video to make a tier list. If that provides any insight as to how much nuance I put in that video. Have you been selling any more of the sealed boxes cases this last month or so, or buying any more? I've bought a couple Sword Shield cases that people offered to me. I bought them at about 85% of market. If you have Sword Shield cases, I don't want to do loose boxes. If you have Sword Shield cases, if you have XY Sun Moon boxes or packs, I will do 80 to 95% of market depending on what it is. Depending on how we define market. Sometimes market can be anywhere in here, 2,000 to 4,000. So I'll pay you closer to 80% if we go closer to 4,000, and I'll pay you over 100% if we go to the 2,000. A lot of it's fairly arbitrary. But yeah, always hit me up. Always feel free to hit me up if you have sealed stuff you want to sell. I'll give you a number. There will be no commitment to sell to me. If someone else offers you more, I will not be mad at you if you sell to them. Sometimes I will know someone offering more than I'm offering on what you want to sell me, and I'll just give you to them. I'll say like, hey, I know Alex, Nostalgianomics, is paying more on this pack. Sell to him. Doesn't hurt my feelings. Hey, I know Nick needs a bunch of this. Sell to him. He's paying more. Doesn't hurt my feelings. So yeah, feel free to reach out. I'm not getting a whole lot of black and white either. See, I gave the disclaimer too of like, if I made this in January, Crown Zenith would have been at the top of the list. When I was buying Crown at $4 a pack, Crown would have been S tier by far. I would have had to make a new tier for Crown at 4. I loved it. I bought over 10,000 packs. I bought 15,000 packs of Crown at about $4 a pack. Now that Crown is 10, I went down to A tier. I still like it a lot. It's high A tier. It's the highest A tier, but not S tier anymore, with it having doubled in price. But that's how high it was in S tier. It doubled in price, and it was still high A tier, which I think is crazy. But yeah, with that, it is after 1 a.m. I have a couple hours of work to do before bed. Happy 4th of July to everyone on the East Coast and in Central Time. Hope everyone has a great 4th of July weekend. I hope you have a great barbecue. Enjoy responsibly. Please don't blow any digits off. You need these things for entering your cards into the grading databases, for creating your listings, for a lot of things in life. So please be safe. Have fun. Have a great weekend.